In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to print big and also save on print time. Alright, I got this ring. It's a BMW motor. I did not make it. I got it off Cult 3D. I forgot the guy's name, but you can probably go there and find it. It's, it's probably well known. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use two softwares. I'm going to use LycheeSlicer. I'm going to use ZBrush. Alright. Part of this, I probably could do most of this in ZBrush, but I'm just going to show you here and show you some examples of some stuff that we need to go over before we get started so you can comprehend what's going on here. So with this, I want to print big, okay? So, and I want to save time. So basically if I go to the scale right here, and if I press fit to bed over here, it's going to go big as it can without going outside the bounding box. Now, when it came in, I got lucky because this is oriented just right to fit in the bounding box. If I was to turn it 90 degrees and press fit to mesh, it's going to be either smaller or it's going to go outside the bounding box. So this is probably the best choice on this. The second thing we're going to do, we're going to scale this down because when it gets quite big from edge to edge, my supports might be hanging out of the bounding box. So we're just going to knock this down about just a little bit. Okay, it's at somewhere around 450. So we'll just do this 400. Okay, we'll do roundabout numbers. I'm not picky about 0 point whatever. Anyway, I'll just kind of demonstration so you can kind of see. So if we're, I don't know what it is, but I just like touching that move tool because I just got a habit with it, but I don't know why. So if we go to export, it's going to give us the hours right here. Okay, anytime that we update something and we want to see we do any changes, all we do is switch from layout back to export. I'll give you an example of that. So let's say this is my print here. Let's go back to layout, and remember that was I forgot how many hours that was. Alright, let's say 18 hours and 9 minutes. That's a long time. But to me it is. So if I had some support on here, let's say this thing was way up here, and click, this thing's telling me I got 27 hours. No, that's too much for me. I got better things to do. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and split this in half. Alright, so basically we're going back to layout, and we're going to go into the cut tool, and we're going to use planar cut. If these are not active, it's probably because you are deselecting here. So if you see how it's all grayed out, you got to select it. Okay, then it'll come back. So you run into that, and then just read whatever and just press start. That's all you got to do. I like to look in a direct view, see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to keep this symmetrical, and I have a reason why. I'm going to do my cutting up and down. I will never move this arrow left to right or whatever it takes. Or tilt it. I want to make this completely symmetrical because I'm going to need this in ZBrush. And if I turn this a quarter turn here, I'm going to click up here and just click this a little bit. Well, I want to cut it where I can put some registration keys. Okay, this is not going to be a good spot here because I got where it wants to cut at, and the out of the ring here is pretty close to this open hole here. Well, I need to raise it up, but when I do, you notice on the inside it's totally different. So, because it's the way it bevels in, and it's just in a different angle. And if you look at it, it's not going to be right on the inside, but it's going to be right on, or vice versa, So I'm going to have to compensate for that. So what I'll do is take another look here, and I'll just compensate, get in between the two right here. Alright, now this looks almost right, and this looks a little high. So if you want to see if this is all getting in your way, you can press select a cut, and I just use this for visual effect just to kind of see what it looks like. Okay, and once we have that right here, alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press define the cut plane back again. And this is what I want to press. I'll tip it down so you can kind of see right there. So when I do this, I'm going to go press apply, and it's going to cut it right there. Alright, it's going to cut in two. Now I have two separate objects right here. Alright, and you can name them whatever you want. Alright, this is TOP, and this one is BOT. C-T-O-M. Enter. Alright, now their name, and this is what I want. And of course, if we switch back here again, we still got the 18 hours. So I'm going to just take this one here just to show you and put it on the platform. And then when I update this, it went from 18 hours to 9 hours. Okay. Alright, I'm going to Control Z this because I want this back up here, and I have a reason for that. So with that said, I want to just go ahead and make sure that I am just selecting right here and only exporting this. Okay, when I export this, only the items that are viewed get export. I'm going to use the STL. I guess you could use the LBJ, but I'm using ZBrush. It seems to work fine. It's your choice. Now this one was the top, and this one's the top. Alright, I'm just going to overwrite this because I was doing it earlier. Bam. Okay, we're going to overwrite that. Then we're going to do vice versa. We're going to hide that one and then hide that one. This is the bottom. Alright, we're going to export that, and we're going to call this one the bottom. Alright, time to open up ZBrush. Okay, I got ZBrush open, and I'm going to select the Polymesh 3D. There's a reason for this. I'm not going to get into detail, but make sure you select that. And I like to make sure it's directly in the direct mode here, facing forward. And you can see the little head turn right here, so I hold the shift key and snap. And what I'm going to do is going to go to subtool, and I'm going to duplicate this. And once I duplicate it, I'm going to click here on the top just to make sure that's selected. So I'm going to load this, or I'm going to import the top right here that I got from LycheeSlicer, and press open. You have to go through a couple things here, and we're going to scale this down a little bit, or a lot. Alright, and the next move is we're going to have to select the star down here to make sure we're on, we'll call it that layer, and we're going to press import, and we're going to get the bottom of the ring here. Okay, so everything is good, everything's lined up just like I got it, and you can see it's in two pieces. If I press expose down here, you can see it like that. So basically, there's thing I got to determine what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some registration keys. Okay, what they do is they keep the object in line, and you can, it's like snapping apart, but I'm just going to glue these. I'm not going to make no snap pins, and I got to find out, okay, which is going to be the weaker spot, this over here or right here where they're going to combine together. Well, I already know for a fact this is going to be the weaker area, so I'm going to make my pin the biggest on this side, which will be the male sticking out and the female on this side sticking in, and be a little bit stronger if I want to glue it in, if I whatever I want to do with it. So with that said, and we'll go back to expose. You'll learn your lesson, and it'll save you a lot of time if you just go for the quick save. Always save your work, man, and save in increments, because if you don't, it'll bite you in the end in the long run. So basically, let's focus on something here. We're going to focus on this one right here. So I'm going to turn off the eye icon, so just right here, and then we can do this. And what I want to do is I want to go down here, and I want to we're going to press insert. It's going to insert at the bottom of the list, and we're going to select this cube. Alright, and we're going to go here, and we're going to go ahead and bring this out a little bit here, and right here. We're just going to do a little bit of lining at first, nothing too fancy, and we'll bring it over here. And it just takes a couple times to get this aligned. And we're going to bring it like this and stretch it out like this and kind of move it. And like I said, I want to make this one my biggest one. You got to keep in mind now, we can't have this thing punching through the backside, or like coming through here like this, because that's not what we want. It'll make the ring screwed up. And we're going to bring it out here like this till we get past that area right here. Alright, now this looks good. Well, also we got to keep in mind is if we turn this on, And then we'll go down into the transparency. Just make sure it ain't poking through the other side on the up on this one here. I'll show you. So let me see if I can hide this ring real quick. Alright. We'll just turn out transparency. And you see right here, I don't want it poking. You can't see it in the video, but I don't want it poking to the other side. Okay, so with that said, we're just gonna hide the top again and unhide the bottom. Alright, so let's turn this around like it's supposed to. Alright, now what I want to do is, it's got a hard edge, so when I put the parts together, it might not go together very good. If they were more rounded, you know, like a beveled edge, probably be a whole lot better. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the geometry, and we're going to go to dynamic subdivision, and we'll just turn this on, and we'll just give it a smoothing of number 3. As you can see there, how when I turned it on and off, it went from hard edge to smoothing. See right here? Should I do it again? And I want to get a little bit more smoothing, so it's smooth here. And when I do this to number 3, press apply. I know sooner or later I'm going to get an error saying, hey, you got subdivision. I already know it in advance, so I'm going to come up here in geometry and press delete lower. Right, that way I will not get that message later. Alright, now that we got that over here, now I need one for the other side. Okay, so, and you do have to do this one at a time, okay? And there's a reason for that, because if I had both these on the same layer, and one on the left side and one on the right, and I go to scale it, what they do is scale out and scale in. They don't do what they're supposed to do. It'll screw up. Trust me, just don't do it. So basically, when you have this done here, we're going to go ahead and duplicate this one. You know, if you don't know what you want to make sure you're on that one right there, you can press the solo. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to duplicate that one there. So we'll go down here and press duplicate, and it looked like nothing happened. Okay, it did duplicate it, and we're going to go to the deformation right here, and it says mirror. Okay, we know, if you know about, you know, modeling, what X, Y, and Z is. I want to mirror this over on the other side. Remember, I cut that ring in half because it kept it symmetrical, so that's why I did this. So when I mirror this other side, it goes to that side there. And if you notice, you'll see the gizmo over here, but my active tool is over here. So if you select this right up here and click on this little icon, it go over where it's supposed to. So now that we got both of these together, and remember I said, always hit that quick save, something going up, because it'll get you in the end. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead. Well, I'm doing them in a row. I'm not skipping up and down. And I'm going to duplicate me another one. Alright, so I'm going to duplicate it. Alright, and it automatically put me on that one, so I ain't got to shift over there. And look, so what I want to do is, remember, I want to make this one going to be the smaller one. So I'm going to use the middle right here, and I'm going to scale it a little bit smaller. Alright, just a tad bit. So that looks good to me. So basically it's smaller than the other one. Alright, not a whole lot. You can experiment with it if you want to. If you feel like you need to bring this out a little bit or whatever it takes, you can do that. Well, I'm going to Control Z that, make sure I grab the arrow. Alright, you know, you can kind of experiment with that. I'll just leave it kind of like that. So my next step is, basically we're going to duplicate that one now. So I'm going to turn off this junk here, and we're going to go ahead and see, we're going to duplicate it. Automatically brought it over here. Now we got to do the same thing, repeat the deformation, and we're going to mirror it on the other side, and we should have 4 of these in here now. We did all 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, select here, and there we go. So basically, now these are going to be the last 2 right here are the females. The 2 top ones are the male, which is going to be part of this ring right here at the bottom of the ring. So we're going to merge these 2 down. Alright, we're going to merge the ring down to these pins. Alright, so we're going to merge, merge down once. Alright, it's got one pin on there, and we're going to merge down one more time. Alright, we got 2 pins on here. Alright, let's go ahead and turn all these off. And we want to make sure that we'll select on this one right here. This is the active one right here. And we're going to go ahead and export this one out. And we're going to go ahead and press export. And we're going to, you can name it what you want. I'm just going to overwrite it. Alright, so bottom, press save, overwrite it. Alright, let's get this one out of my way right now. So we're just going to select this icon right here, the eye icon. And we're going to focus on this one. Now you got to turn the, if I select it, you'll see it shows. But if I just select down here and do different things, it might not show up. So make sure the eye icon's active. And we're going to turn this around here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge, let's see here. I'm going to merge this one. Alright. Alright, remember this is going to be the boolean one. Alright. So I'm going to merge these down. Okay, so make sure I select that one right here, and we're going to go merge down. And what I want to do is I want to boolean it now. So I'm going to press the boolean operation here. And then we're going to cycle through these right here. As you can see, it just did it right there. Alright. If you don't see it, it's probably because you got to make sure that eye icon's on sometimes, or it won't work. Alright, so, or you won't be able to see it. It didn't pop through the other side. I'm looking on the back side. It looks all good. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move down here to the boolean. I think since I froze up the subdivision, I think we're good. We're just going to leave that and press make boolean mesh. Alright, it's only going to make the active one. Now you'll see a lot of people come up here and click, open this up and look. All you got to do, since this is the last tool that was ever made, all you got to do is take the slider and move it all the way to the right, and watch the subtool. It'll be all empty besides one. This is what we want right here. All right. So that said, we're going to go ahead and export this one here. So this one is going to be the top, and press here. And if we want to see how this is going to work, you can do things all kinds of ways, but we'll insert that star again. Alright, there it is, and we're going to go ahead and press import, and we're going to get the bottom of that one and see what it looks like when we get it all in here. We'll turn this one on, and there it is. Okay, so if we use expose, there you go. Alright, you can see right there, we got the male coming out, and we got the female going in. Alright, very simple. I'm trying to get you a close-up look. Remember, this is the insert, and this one right here. So basically, you'll be pushing these together and gluing them together, and they'll be used as a pin to keep it more stable. And don't forget that quick save. It'll save your life. Okay, we got LycheeSlicer open here. We're going to add the files. So we're going to add both of these here and drag over these. Alright. And you'll get something like this. And if we select up, it's the way it comes in on the axis. So if it don't look right, it is right. Put it that way. You don't have to. I'm just showing you because it's not. If you're wondering why I say, hey, it don't look like it's matching up, it's because it's the way, you see, if you line up to the front, facing front, I got a little, looks like it's off center here, and you got to do it both ways to line it up. You don't have to do this step, but just to show you that everything is in line, and everything is working, and we select here, and I get you in a ballpark, and you can kind of see right there, you won't see no seam line. Alright, now in the video I left it up a little bit, and you will see a seam line, so you can kind of see. So if I was to drag this down just a little bit, and it will, you know, up or down, you know, hide the seam line. And of course, if you look, we got the right here on this side right here. Let me open this up here so I'm having a hard time selecting this stuff. And we got the, you know, the bevel, or not the bevel, but we got the insert on this one, and then we got the, which is the female up in this hole, and the male, and they're gonna fit together. And then you go right here and you set it down. So basically what you want to do is when you, now I'm not going to get into full detail, but what you want to do is, what I like doing is, we're going to just go ahead and just make sure we're going to be on, make sure we're on the platform. We're going to do one for this one and on the platform. That way, everything is lower, so my time is a lot, you know, easier. And I'm not gonna do support on here, but I'll just kind of give you some ideas how you would set this up, because basically I want to save on some print time. So basically I'll just move this one here out of the way right here just a little bit. I'll just move it so it's right here, not that far out. I'll keep it in the bounding box, and then I'll move this one over here. Alright. Remember, if you scale any of these, you gotta scale them both at the same time, or one at a time. But just make sure that you scale. They're all the same on here. Okay, so you can scale them. Now, if you select both of these like this, with hold the Shift key and select, I don't know if it would throw it off, but I would just scale them one at a time and say, you know what, I want to make this 90. That's just a little bit too big. And then you just click this one. Hey, make this one 90. Alright. That's if you want, okay? Nothing, no biggie. So if you didn't want to do that, that's fine. Then we're going to go ahead and rotate this one here. And it seemed like it would be, if I had it in a different angle, it would be better off the way it is facing right now. And the green one, and the 90. Not that green one. It's always going to be the last one, you know that. Let's see. I'll just tell you what I'll do. I'll just turn it by hand is what I'll do. And when I turn this right here, alright, and let go. See, I want to, let me do that again. I didn't like that one. Let's grab this little one here. Let's grab, I think you got to grab on the top right here. There we go. And let's let go. As you can see, I got it at an angle. You know what? That's okay. I don't want any supports on this outside male here. And what I like to do is see the bottom right here, and to save a little bit of print time. It probably wouldn't matter on this part, but I like to, you know, keep it so they both touch. Then when I put my support on there, you know, they're somewhat, you know, not so high in the air. Okay. And I want it to kind of be a little bit up on this end, so my supports doesn't show any islands on here, or makes me put supports that I need to. So that should be fairly good for that. And the same way with this one here, what I would do about this one here, as you can see, this one is not a factor. It's going to be on for the print time. It's going to be this big one here. So basically, if we go to the, let's see here, let's see. All right, that looks good. So basically, I want to go in the front view here. All right. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm holding my middle mouse wheel, and I'm going to come up to the top. I'm using this line up here. I'm using this as a reference line, so I'm just going to bring it up here. That's where it's going to stop printing, okay? You see that way at the top? That's where it's going to stop printing. And it's going to stop printing in 8 hours and 4 minutes. And if you want to save a little bit of time, we can rotate that and just kind of find out what's a good spot. Because, you know, visually it looked good, but I still can save me some more time by rotating that. So basically what I'll do is I'll select the rotate, and I'll go one way or another. And when I do, I'll turn a little bit and let go. I'm using that reference line. I don't want to go past it now, okay? Because if I do this, something like this, and it's going to go way up here, I don't want that, okay? We want to go the opposite way and just kind of, you know, trying to go back and forth a little bit with it and find out it's a good spot. Alright, then you can go back here and 7 minutes and 7 minutes, or 7 hours and 57 minutes, okay? Maybe I can get a little bit more, maybe I can't. Alright, let's try that again. So we move it like this. Alright, at least I can keep it off that line, the better off I'm going to get. Alright, 7 hours and 51 minutes, see what we got here. I'm losing track of what it said over there, so bear with me. That made it more, so you know, you can kind of jack with it and find out what's going to be the best. If you need to, you can bring it up just a little bit, and you can see where it's the high spot over here, and I want to try to find out if I can get that high spot down just a little bit. I think that's going to be about somewhat the best I can do. I had 7 hours and 52 minutes. Okay, and then you can start adding your supports, and hopefully when everything's all said and done, you can go ahead and print this out. Now another thing that you can do is if you want to print these out one at a time, you can actually make them, you can make them even larger. I mean, if I wanted to, let's say, now they gotta be the same size in when we scale this. So basically, if I go to the scale right here, basically, these got to match up. This one's got to match this one here. So maybe I just didn't. Let's say for example, let's go ahead and hide this one here. I'm going to try something. All right, I know this is the biggest one, so I'm going to use this one, because the reason why that is because this one is going to be giving it the max it can fit in here for the boundary box. So what I mean by that is we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to move that to the center. Alright, platform, and we're going to scale this. Remember, we're at 90 here, and if we fit the bed right here, see, I can even make that bigger and print them out at one at a time. But of course, if I want to make it smaller, but because if I start adding some supports in there, a good chance it's going to be outside the bounding box. But anyway, you're going to save yourself a whole lot of print time. So that's one at 100, and let's say I wanted to print the other one. I'll just put this one in the center on the platform, scale that one. What I have that one at the top one, scaled at 100. Alright. Top of 100. And the bottom we'll make 100. Alright. And we can make it bigger. So then you go right here, and then you can print them at one at a time. So whatever is hidden, then you go to export after you put support on here. Then you can do that one, and when you're done, if you want to do them separately, then you do it like that. Alright. But you seen earlier I had them separated, or you can print them both at the same time. But basically, I would just print them both at the same time. It's up to you. It depends how tall you want this thing. And you can actually make it extremely large. I made this one. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. This is I did a long time ago in ZBrush. I made a tool. It's probably outdated, man. It was a long time ago. When I'd slice up these pieces, as you can see on this, I was using an FDM printer, the Robo right here, and that's the biggest I could get on the build plate. And once I, printed out each piece by piece and fasten it together, then I got something like this. It was like, I don't know, 3 times as big as that build plate. It was pretty huge. You can see down here, it's pieced in one. I mean, you can make this thing big as you want, actually. It just takes a lot of time, but it's something, if you want something a little extra larger, or you want to, cut down on print time and you don't mind doing it, or you just, just a hobbyist want to check it out, go ahead. And that's the end of this tutorial.